I believe it was 90 days ago where Casey from Brick by Brick dropped the news on the channel that she was going to be homeschooling her kids in the upcoming school year. Well, the school year has started, and what is Casey doing? She's doing a 3 to 4 week road trip across the country, currently residing in Southern California after hitting Vegas, the Grand Canyon, and so many other spots. So, Casey, you're truly doing it. Homeschooling kids on the road. What is
We're
going on?
doing it. I know, it's crazy. And honestly, my sister, we're at her house right now. I'm in my brother-in-law's YouTube studio. He does YouTube. And she told me yesterday, she's like, I can't believe you're actually homeschooling. I thought pigs would fly before you ever did that. And they came to visit me last November for Thanksgiving. And she's telling me all about homeschooling. And I'm reading the books that she brought. And I'm like, you know what? We're going to do this. And I tell you, Michael, I never in my wildest dreams did I ever think I would homeschool or to really ever have the freedom to just take off and leave and have no end date. You
Right.
know, it's really
Yeah.
been a dream.
Yeah. So let's talk about it because there's really two avenues there, but let's talk about the freedom one first. Because again, you and your husband are now on this road trip with no end date, which I love. You have a mission to obviously, there's certain things you have to do for the kids, but you are also giving them all this extra exposure, right? The Grand
Yeah.
Canyon and all of these other things. Um, just talk about how it feels to know the last decade of grinding and living below your means and investing, how it is to kind of, sip the cup of the rewards a little bit. It's got to be fun.
I mean, it's, I'm speechless really to be able to say, hey kids, we're going to homeschool. You bring your math and your English and we'll come back and finish science at home, and all the things. But I'm going to show you these places in real life. You're not just going to read about the Grand Canyon, read about Sedona, read about the vortexes and all the cool spiritual things. And, we're going to visit them in real life. You're going to get to see what this is like. And we're going to take our time and we don't have a plan. And we're going to see what the next hotel or Airbnb is or what next adventure we're going to see. My son's now all of a sudden into dirt biking, which if you would have asked me 3 months ago what my 11-year-old was into, I'd say, I don't know, video games. I mean, I didn't know him, now that he's not in school full time and he has the time to explore and learn about himself. Now he's really into dirt bikes. He has never ridden one, but guess what we're going to do on our trip back? When we hit Moab, we're going to get him a dirt bike, some sort of 4-wheel ATV or something. And we're going to let him experience that because I want my kids to find their passions, to find out what they love. I went to school. I mean, I did the thing. I went to college. I got my degree. And I still left college not really knowing who I was or what I wanted to be. Just gotta pick a major, gotta pick a job. I don't know, where's the list of the top 100 paying jobs and let me see if I like any of that. You kids nowadays don't really get to discover who they are. And my daughter, she loves to do nails, but who knew she loved to read? She now has time to read. She read through the second Harry Potter book in 3 days.
Wow.
I mean, it's really thick. I should have, I checked it out from the library before we left. I should have checked out more than that one. She's already done with it. So just being able to have the freedom and slow down to say, hey, what do you love about life? I can't imagine my kids having to, like I did, go to school all the time. And they're in school till they're 21, 22 years old before you can experience life and you're thrown right into having to get a job. I want to live life as we go. And being able to do this road trip, having the passive income from rental properties is really what's allowed us to do it. So I have a team, right? I've got a guy tiling my property right now. I have another lady, she's helping show in my vacant home. So I've got it all set up to where if we want to leave, we can. We can take a trip and have it not affect us, and we can still bring in the income from it. It's been amazing, but I don't even know what to say. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, I can almost hear. If you could hear somebody glowing, that's what I'm getting right now. I'm not sure
Yeah.
that's possible, but I'm going to say it anyway. You're glowing. And what's really powerful for me and the one rental at a time audience is you're doing this with 9 units, not
Yeah.
90, not 900, 9.
Yep. And one of them is still under rehab. We just bought it a month ago or so, and we're still renovating it. So yes, on 8, and one of them is vacant right now. So we got 7 paying rentals, and they're cash flowing really well because we buy one at a time, one rental at a time, brick by brick, right? Just one at a time. It's not all 9 or 90 in one year. just 1 or 2 a year on average, 1 a year on average. And the secret ingredient is time. You just let time do
Time.
its thing. Time
Yes.
is the secret.
Yeah. A decade. I mean, again, you do this one rental at a time thing. You have cash flow day one, so you're not at risk of losing anything. And then a decade goes by. I like your chances.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
been fantastic. We've got to hit
Well,
Sedona, Grand Canyon, Las Vegas. My little son, Cody, he's 7. He got brought up on stage. He went to the Matt Franco Magic Show, and they brought him
ah,
up on stage. They asked him all these questions. He did so good, you know. And I will say, one benefit of going during the school year to all these places is there's no kids. We
yeah,
went to the Grand
exactly.
Canyon. I saw like 2 other kids. I'm like, this is fantastic. You know, we're not going anywhere in spring break or summer. We're going when
No,
all the adults go. And they're, you know,
exactly.
it's like it's oh my god, there's nobody here. We have this place all to ourselves, and we're
Yeah.
hitting all the desert stuff on the way back, Colorado on the way back, Rocky Mountains again. Like, I don't know when we'll be back, but we're just
No,
gonna have like a great trip.
that's amazing. Well, the other thing that we kind of talked about 6 months ago when you dropped this is you were a little, I'll say nervous, maybe, right? You made the commitment, you clicked the button on the site. You're in it now. How does it feel?
Yes, it's still scary because, you know, I was such a school person. I loved school, and I had a great time. I was one of those kids who loved high school. I loved it. I loved college and all the things. And I still do worry that my kids will miss out on things, right?
Yeah.
But so I still have that. But there's so many other benefits. Like I said, just in the past couple months, my son has found something he loves. My daughter has fallen in love with reading versus it being a chore. And in just a couple months. I
Mm.
mean, I can't imagine what I'm going to learn about them and what they're going to learn about themselves. I think to me, that is beauty that's unfolding, you know,
Nice.
and I know that all these worries I have about them missing out on this and that for school will go away.
Remind us of the ages. I forget what is the range?
So my daughter Juliet's 13, she's in 8th grade, and
Okay.
my son Jason's 11 and 5th, and Cody's 7 and he's in 1st.
So help me understand how you, as the teacher for a first, what'd you say, fifth and seventh, how do you
Yeah,
divide your
yeah,
how do you kind of do that? Because I have no idea.
right. So Cody, you know, he's 7, so he's still kind of learning to read. So I help him every day with his math and his reading. I help him with all of that.
Okay.
Science, we kind of tag along to what the bigger kids are doing with science. And in history, the one subject I teach is history and Spanish. So we're doing Spanish too. So we'll set a time for that, you know, 4 days a week to do that. The bigger kids, they can read. So my daughter's doing Algebra 1 honors online on her own. She has a book. They're doing their, you know, I'm making sure they're still doing enriched programs and harder stuff so they can kind of keep up with what they were doing. Although most true homeschoolers would say not to do that, but I'm just getting there, right? I'm still a school person at heart. So they do, Jason and Juliet will do a lot on their own.
Okay.
I'll check their work. I'll grade if I have to. So they don't need me to sit with them all the time, but we do Spanish together. We'll sit outside in the front yard, Michael, under a tree, and we'll do our Spanish lessons together. We'll eat lunch and have picnics. They'll swim during the day. I
Nice.
mean, and they're less stressed out. When I see all the neighborhood kids stressed out first week of school and misbehaving, my kids are not. And I'm like, okay, this is the right move. I knew it. I knew it was.
That is awesome. That is awesome. If you had somebody out there, another mom, father who's thinking about homeschooling, what are kind of the words of advice, maybe the right, the wrong? Because maybe, maybe it's right for some people, maybe not for others, but what would be some
Yeah.
advice to a parent who's at least seriously thinking about it?
I would say read the book Dubbing Us Down by John Taylor Gatto.
Okay.
I got the audiobook. It's 3 hours. I listened to it 3 times. And you will learn why schools were invented, why they were. They were created so that we would be great factory workers.
Yep.
And that's not what I want my kids to be. So once you realize what schools are really intended for, their purpose,
Mm,
and the mass schooling, you realize you'll do anything for your kids not to be in that environment and be dumbed down. You want to have the best. So you'll figure it out. So just having the reason why is good enough to figure it out on your own.
I love that. I love that. Again, I don't know if you could feel or hear somebody glowing, but that is exactly what I got from this conversation, even before we hit the record button. It's working. You were
Yeah.
apprehensive. You took the risk. You clicked the button. I can tell you 6 months later, at least for you and your kids, it's working. So congratulations. I'm so happy for you. I look
Thanks.
forward to hearing about this trip as you head back home.
Yeah. And next week, when I meet with you, I'll be in Big Bear, California, in a cabin, doing Oktoberfest, going on some
Nice.
hikes. So yeah, I'm real excited. You can see all the different places that I am on our way, and like this is our new life. Like, live
Yes.
by the day. We're gonna enjoy life as it's intended, and try to live as stress free as possible. And realize that really it has only been possible because of real estate investing. Otherwise, we would be at day jobs. We would
Yep.
be fighting the lifestyle creep, buying up, all these
Yeah.
things. And we would not have the freedom that we have to just leave and do whatever we want.
And I want to hit it again. 9 units.
Yeah, nice.
9. Folks, it's possible. Do the work, focus. Time is the secret ingredient. Casey, where can people find you?
People can find me every day on YouTube, Brick by Brick Wealth, as well as Instagram, Brick by Brick Wealth.
Casey, you're amazing. Congratulations. I am so happy for you.